Okay, HadesOmega here, and I'm making a kind of how-to vlog video on how to install a bearing into your Sprocket hub carrier for your for a 2000. This is for my friend's 2009 BMW F650GS. That's the F650GS with the twin engine. So, or I think it's also known as a Kilo 72, K72. There's the G650 and there's the F650, and this one is for the F650GS twin. And you can. This will probably be. You can probably. I think this is very similar. I think it's the same as the F700 and the F800GS. So, but I'm not 100% sure on that. This might work. But so what I got here today is a. So here's the story. My buddy and his F650GS, we installed a new chain and sprocket on it, and then one day the sprocket came loose. Like all the bolts came loose on it. So and I feel kind of partially at fault because I was the one that helped him install it. You know. I did most of the work installing it, and I didn't know that you were supposed to get new bolts and lock washers when you do it. So I never had to do that with any other sprocket. So I don't know. It's German. It's BMW. So so anyway, this is a brand new sprocket hub carrier. This is the one that mounts to the push drive rubbers right here on the wheel, and it holds your third bearing. Basically, and there'll be a spacer. I'll show you what the other one looks like later. But this is a brand new one. He ordered a new one, and it turns out that they updated the part. They use bigger bolts on it. These use M10 bolts. Yeah, these are M10 bolts on it. Whereas the other one were like M8s, 8mm. These are 10mm right here. So they increased the size of the bolts. So that just, that leads me to believe that, yeah, if we're having a problem with the bolts not holding it properly or something. So anyway, so he got the updated sprocket carrier. It costs about like $200, and then he bought a new sprocket. This is a brand new sprocket. But yeah, anyway, this video is not on how to install the sprocket. That'll be a separate video. Alright, so this will be a video on how to install the third bearing into the sprocket carrier hub. And how to get your old bearing out, I guess, because I have to get the old bearing out of the old one. Let me show you what that. So this is what the old one looks like. So you can see the holes. If you look at the old part and the new part, you can tell the hole is much bigger. It's a little bit bigger on the newer part. It's 2mm bigger. So this is what the old one looks like, and that's what the new one looks like. And so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to take the old bearing out. I'll show you how to do that. And then and the reason we have to do that is because there's a spacer back here. And it's kind of trapped in there. BMW designed it so, like, I don't know if this damages the bearing or not. It may fit the bearing perfectly, but I'm pretty sure that once you press the old bearing out, or you pull it out, you've pretty much effectively destroyed the old bearing. So yeah, once you take the bearing out, that's it. Don't reuse it. Maybe. But the main thing we need is to get this. We need to get the when we take the old bearing out, we're gonna have to take the spacer here, and we need the snap ring here to hold the bearing in. All right, so and then I got a brand new bearing right here. Just in case you're wondering, I know it's kind of hard to see. I will put if you just want to just order a SKF bearing from somewhere else. I bought it from BMW, so. But this is a SKF Explorer bearing, and it says it's a 12201M on it. I'm just reading any kind of markings on it. It's SKF bearing. The number is, you probably won't be able to see it in the camera, but I'll read it off and I'll put a subtitle below. 6204-2RSH /C3GJN. That's some crazy ass bearing number. I don't think I've ever seen a bearing number like that before. It's crazy. Anyway, so this is the bearing. It cost $25. The part number is, okay, here's the part number if you're going to order it from BMW. 33818543930. 33818543930. And it actually tells you what the bearing is. It's a bearing 6204 DRS. So it's a 6204 bearing. I'm pretty sure it's not a specific BMW part. It's just like probably some parts that they carry, and they use it's a SKF bearing. You can probably use whatever bearing that you fancy. I think SKF is pretty good. That's what BMW uses apparently. So yeah, and then we have the shaft seal. The shaft seal is it's a good idea to replace the shaft seal when you take the old one out. It's part number 36318561711. I'll put all these numbers in the description, the video description below, if you're looking to order some parts with the parts numbers. And I can show you what that looks like. Okay, anyway, my camera's having trouble focusing on this. This is what the seal looks like. Basically, this just goes on top of the snap ring, basically, which is on top of the bearing. So it just goes like that. I'm not going to show you how to take it out because I already taken it out. But basically, you just get a screwdriver. It's probably better if you use like a small pry bar, and you just pry it out. That's all, and it just pops right out. I would just say go ahead and if it looks good, reuse it. This one looks okay still. I guess you could reuse it. Just try not to destroy the lip here. That's what seals it. But we just went ahead and bought a brand new one, so it's a little bit deformed. So I think it's a good idea. Yeah, see, you can see the little springy thingy is all messed up now. So if if you're replacing the bearing because it's old, or something happened to it, just replace the seal with it too. If you can get it out without breaking it. So yeah, so so you have to buy a new seal and a new bearing. I don't have the seal yet because BMW is ordering it for me. They had the bearing in stock, so they were able to give me the bearing. So what you're going to want to do first is so I decided to shoot this video now because I want to go. I'm going to put this in the freezer. So the theory behind it, it's not theory. It's science, man. It's science. When you freeze, it's called thermal expansion. When things get hot, they expand, and when they get cold, they shrink. So what you're going to want to do is very tight. It needs to be pressed in there. So what you need to do is the best thing to do is to put this in the freezer. Put this in the freezer for, they say like 15 minutes, but I'm gonna just put it in right now, the night before. I'm gonna do it overnight, and then we're gonna finish this tomorrow or whenever I get to it. And what that does is it shrinks the bearing, and it should be easier to install it. But I also have my Harbor Freight 20-ton jack right here. So a 20-ton press. So that should help too if we can't do it. And I tried. I don't have the socket for it. It's a 32 millimeter, but I found out that this washer here that I found fits over there. So what I might want to do is grind the inside of this so it doesn't touch the inner part of the bearing here, so you don't damage that. But whatever you do, don't press on this part of the bearing, because that will mess up your bearings. Because this is just kind of just floating in there, and you got a bunch of ball bearings in there. what you're going to want to do is you want to press on the outside. And what most people use are sockets, but I don't have the socket. I have a 32 millimeter, and it was not big enough. So I'll show you. There's a 32 millimeter socket. That's the biggest one I got in my arsenal, and it doesn't fit. It's just like a hair. It's like a millimeter too small, so that will not work. That will probably just destroy. It'll probably just destroy your bearing. Now when we go ahead and put it in, if we do freeze it, we may get lucky and it might just go back in. So it might just go straight down. I've had it happen before, but in case that doesn't happen, we got the press and we have this washer. So I got that just in case. The press makes it so much easier, but just to make it easier, we'll freeze this, and then what you can do is heat the hub up. If you got a heat gun, heat it up really good. If it helps if you have like one of those little thermometer, those laser thermometers, and see how hot it gets, and maybe you want to heat it up for like 200 degrees or something. I'm probably not going to do that. I have the press, so if it doesn't want to go in, we'll just press it in. Chances are, because I had it happen sometimes where like it'll go like halfway and then it'll get stuck. So and then you have to press it in. So it's good to have a press if you got one. If you don't, you're gonna have to get the right. If you don't have a press, you're gonna have to get like some kind of socket or some cylindrical object, like a pipe or something, that fits on the outer part of the bearing here, and you're gonna have to beat it in, basically. You can probably use this and then put a socket on top of it and hit it, but we're gonna use the press, so because I got one. So that's the plan, and when I get to it, we'll go ahead. Well, the next part will be we'll disassemble the old hub. All right, here's what I got.